This is The Last of Us Part 1 Condensed. The story begins with Joel, who just got home after a stressful day at work. Joel's daughter, Sarah, stayed up past her bedtime to give him a watch, a present for his birthday.
Where did you get the money for this?
Drugs. I sell hardcore drugs.
Oh, good. You started helping out with the mortgage then.
Sarah eventually falls asleep while watching TV, so Joel carries her to bed. A bit later, Sarah wakes up to her Uncle Tommy calling her on the phone, but the call drops abruptly. It's clear something bad is happening. Joel comes home in a panic, and shortly after, their neighbor crashes through the glass door like a wild animal, forcing Joel to shoot him. Joel and Sarah go outside and meet up with Tommy. The three of them hop in a car, hoping to find a safer place. Turns out that going out was not a great idea. The highway is clogged up and the streets are in complete chaos, with the infected running rampant everywhere. While trying to get through the mess, a car comes out of nowhere and slams into them. They make it out of the car wreck, but Sarah's leg is broken, so Joel carries her while Tommy stays on guard with his gun. As they're running, Tommy stays behind to hold off the infected, so Joel and Sarah keep going until they're stopped by a military soldier. Though he's initially hesitant, the soldier follows his orders and opens fire upon Joel and Sarah. Just as the soldier is about to finish off Joel, Tommy comes to the rescue and shoots the soldier. Unfortunately, Sarah's been fatally wounded and she dies in Joel's arms. Very sad. Anyway, it's your typical zombie apocalypse, but with mushroom zombies. The cordyceps fungus is the thing responsible for turning people into zombies. A person can get infected by breathing in spores in the air, or by getting bitten by an infected person. The cordyceps infection spreads worldwide. Fedra, a government agency in the US, declares martial law and builds quarantine zones for the survivors. A militia group known as the Fireflies rises up against Fedra's rule. The Fireflies aren't just fighting Fedra though, they're also looking for a cure for the cordyceps infection. That's enough exposition, back to the real story. It's time to meet our second main character, Ellie. 20 years have passed since the cordyceps outbreak. Ellie gets woken up by her best friend Riley, who's been missing for a few weeks.
Wanna know what I've been up to?
All this time, I thought you were dead.
Riley pulls out her Firefly pendant, showing that she's officially become a Firefly. It's pretty risky for Riley to be showing up like this, especially considering that they're inside a military boarding school run by Fedra. Despite having military training in the morning, Ellie reluctantly agrees to follow Riley, whatever she's up to. Riley takes Ellie to an abandoned mall, promising to surprise her with something exciting. Though she's a little grumpy at first, Ellie starts to have fun with her friend. Riley leads the way to the circuit breakers, so they flip the switches on and the place comes to life. Not everything in the mall works perfectly, but they still have a great time. After having enough fun, Ellie says she has to go back before she gets in trouble. So Riley drops the bad news. The Fireflies are sending her to a different city, so they might never see each other again. Riley isn't happy with Ellie's cold response, so the two of them get into an argument. Riley tosses her backpack to Ellie, revealing the water guns Ellie really wanted. They take a break from being serious and play with the water guns for a bit. Back on good terms, the two of them blast some music and dance around. Reality hits Ellie pretty hard, and she realizes she really doesn't want Riley to leave.
Don't go.
This nice moment is ruined when a bunch of infected come barging in. As they make a run for it, they get into a direct physical confrontation with two infected. They survive the attack, but the worst has happened. They have both been bitten. Even though they're going to turn soon, Riley says they should keep going and fight for whatever time they have left. It's never shown on screen, but Riley eventually succumbs to the infection. But what happens to Ellie? Well, we will find out. Let's skip ahead 3 weeks and go back to Joel. Joel gets woken up by his partner, Tess. The two of them have been living in a quarantine zone in Boston, making their living as smugglers. Robert, a local smuggler, owes Joel and Tess a large collection of weapons. Now that they know where Robert is holed up in, Joel and Tess head out to track him down. As they're going through a checkpoint, the Fireflies launch a surprise attack, which closes off their path, forcing the duo to make a detour. On the way to find Robert, it's shown that Tess has a bit of a reputation amongst the locals. They go through some shootouts and rough handling with Robert's men, but they eventually get Robert cornered. After getting roughed up, Robert confesses that he sold their guns to the Fireflies. Having no more use for him, Tess shoots Robert in the head. Marlene, the leader of the Fireflies, shows up.
Where's Robert? I needed him alive.
The guns he gave you?
They weren't his to sell.
Marlene agrees to return the guns, plus some extra, but only if they smuggle something out of the city. With the Fireflies in disarray and Marlene badly injured, she's left with no other options but to turn to Joel and Tess for help. Marlene takes Joel and Tess to a hideout, where they meet Ellie. Turns out Ellie is the cargo that they're supposed to smuggle out of the city.
I want Joel to watch over her.
Whoa, I don't think that's
Bullshit,
the
I'm not
best
going
idea.
with him.
Tess wants to see the goods before doing the smuggling job, so Marlene takes Tess back to the Firefly camp while Joel takes Ellie somewhere safe. It is worth mentioning that Joel and Ellie don't exactly hit it off right away. At this point, they're just tolerating each other. When they reach a hideout, Joel takes a nap, leaving Ellie alone to just sit around and wait. After a while, Tess comes back. She confirms that their payout for smuggling Ellie is going to be a lot. The three of them head out, and they don't get far before they run into two Fedra soldiers. A soldier starts scanning them for infection, and when they get to Ellie, she stabs the soldier in the leg, giving Joel and Tess the chance to take them down. Thanks to the scanner, the big secret is out. Ellie is infected. Ellie shows the bite mark on her arm, saying that it's been 3 weeks since she was bitten. Most people turn within 2 days of infection, so Joel and Tess are highly doubtful of her claim. There are more soldiers coming in, so they save the argument for later and take off. Once they're in the clear, Tess asks Ellie what the Fireflies are planning to do with her. Ellie explains that her immunity to the cordyceps infection could be the key to finding a vaccine. Joel thinks it's all BS, but Tess wants to carry on and finish the job. So they continue forwards, going through the abandoned city, encountering numerous infected. While going through an old museum, Tess gets into a struggle with an infected and ends up getting bitten on the neck. She doesn't tell the others about the bite, but she becomes a lot more determined on getting to the Capitol building, where the Fireflies are supposed to be. When they arrive at the Capitol building, they see that the Fireflies they were supposed to meet with are all dead. Tess frantically searches for any kind of clue where the Fireflies might have gone, but Joel argues they should give up and go home. With the way Tess has been acting, Ellie figures out that Tess is infected.
Show it to me. Oh, Christ.
Oops, right? Give me your arm. This was 3 weeks. I was bitten an hour ago and it's already worse. This is f***ing real, Joel.
Knowing that she doesn't have much time left, Tess begs Joel to take Ellie to Tommy, who used to be with the Fireflies. By helping to find a cure, Tess feels like she can redeem herself for all the bad things she's done. With Fedra soldiers closing in, Tess stays back to buy Joel and Ellie some time. Tess manages to take down 2 soldiers before getting killed. Joel and Ellie head into an underground subway to evade the soldiers, where cordyceps spores fill the air. While Joel has to wear a gas mask, Ellie has no problem breathing the spores in, leaving no doubt that she is immune. After escaping, Ellie starts to offer her condolences about Tess, but Joel cuts her off. Joel sets some ground rules for Ellie: never bring up Tess again, keep her immunity a secret, and always follow his orders. Once they're on the same page, Joel says they're going to visit his friend Bill, who can hook them up with a car. Joel has never been to Bill's town before, and for all anyone knows, Bill is the only living person still in the area. The whole town is filled with booby traps, showing that Bill is resourceful and a bit paranoid. As they explore the town, Joel walks into a trap that snags him by his foot and leaves him hanging upside down. The noise attracts a bunch of infected, but Ellie manages to free Joel by cutting the counterweight loose. Bill shows up just in time and leads Joel and Ellie to safety. As soon as they arrive in his safe house, Bill handcuffs Ellie to a metal pipe and knocks Joel to his knees to scan him for infection. Ellie breaks free and immediately starts hitting Bill with the metal pipe, but Joel puts a stop to it.
You come into my house, you set off all my traps, you damn near break my shooting arm. Who the fuck is this punk and what's she doing here?
I am none of your goddamn business, and we're here because you owe Joel some favors. And you can start by taking these off.
Joel cuts to the chase. Bill owes him some favors, and helping Joel fix up a car is how Bill can repay him. And so, Bill takes Joel and Ellie to his personal armory to gear up. Because of the poor first impression, Bill and Ellie continue to butt heads. Bill asks where Tess is, and why Joel is with Ellie, but Joel avoids giving any real answers. Bill takes them near a high school building, claiming there should be a car battery inside a military truck that they can take. But when they get there and pop the hood, the car battery is is missing. They have to escape the building while fighting off more infected. They even encounter a bloater, a rare type of infected that takes many years to fully transform. The three of them take a breather in a random house, where Joel and Bill get into an argument, but it's cut short when they find the corpse of Bill's missing partner. Bill is visibly upset at the sight of his dead partner, and there's some implications that romantic feelings were involved. Anyway, Ellie finds a truck with a missing car battery that Bill was looking for. The battery needs to be charged, so Joel and Bill push the truck while Ellie's at the wheel. As soon as the car is started, Joel and Bill jump in the back and Ellie drives off, narrowly escaping the infected. They stop at a safe place, and Bill gives Joel a siphon hose, telling him that there's still a lot of cars laying around with gas. Joel tries to express sympathy for Bill's dead partner, but Bill bluntly tells him to leave. And so Joel and Ellie drive off with their newly acquired truck. While on the road, Ellie shows off some goods that she stole from Bill, including a comic book, a cassette tape, and an adult magazine. She has no real interest in the magazine though. They arrive at the city of Pittsburgh, where they get ambushed by a group of hunters. Their truck gets wrecked, so Joel and Ellie have to continue on foot, facing off against the hunters along the way. They pass through an old military checkpoint, which has long been overthrown by the hunters that are now roaming the area. Inside a hotel, Joel gets separated from Ellie while trying to cross an elevator shaft. Joel tells Ellie to stay put while he makes his way back. He makes his way out of the basement and back upstairs, where a hunter catches him by surprise. The hunter tries to drown Joel, but Ellie shows up and shoots the hunter. Instead of thanking Ellie for saving his life, Joel scolds her for not staying put and takes back his pistol, much to her annoyance. Up until now, Joel had refused to let Ellie carry a gun, but they end up in a situation where there are too many hunters for him to take on by himself. So Joel gives Ellie a hunting rifle to cover him, and in his own way, he thanks her for saving him earlier. After the hunters are dealt with, Joel gives Ellie a pistol, showing that he's starting to trust her more. As they press on, an armored truck with a turret starts hunting them down. While evading the truck, Joel enters an apartment building and gets grabbed by a man. Joel gets the upper hand on the man, only to find himself at gunpoint by a young boy. Seeing how they both have a kid with them, the two men quickly come to a truce.
If you haven't noticed, they don't keep kids around. I'm Henry. This is Sam.
Henry offers to take Joel and Ellie to a hideout where they can discuss a game plan. On their way, Sam finds a toy robot he's interested in, but Henry firmly tells him it's not worth carrying. Ellie decides to keep the toy robot for Sam. When they get to the safe house, Ellie and Sam have fun together eating blueberries, while Joel and Henry talk about their next steps. Apparently, Henry is also looking for the Fireflies. He was supposed to meet with his group at a radio station outside the city, so Joel agrees to tag along. At nightfall, the four of them head out and take down the hunters in their way. When the armored truck catches up to them, Henry and Sam are forced to leave Joel and Ellie behind. When there's nowhere else left to run, Joel and Ellie jump off a bridge and into a river, where Joel gets knocked unconscious. Somehow, they make it on land, where they're reunited with Henry and Sam. Acting impulsively, Joel threatens Henry for leaving them earlier, but he calms down after finding out that Henry saved both of them from drowning. The four of them join up as a team again and head into the sewers, where they stumble upon the remains of a survivor group that once lived there. They make it out of the sewers and into a suburban area, where they find themselves targeted by a sniper. Of course, Joel knows how to deal with that himself. After taking down the sniper, Joel covers for his team as more hunters come after them. Just when they think the worst is over, some infected come out and attack Henry and Sam. Joel swiftly dispatches them, but the arrival of a full-on horde of infected forces them to make a run for it. The group finds refuge and spends the evening relaxing and eating some food. After Ellie leaves to hang out with Sam, Henry sadly admits that the rest of his group probably didn't make it. In the other room, Ellie tries to make some light conversation with Sam, but he seems weighed down by something. He confesses that he's afraid he might end up becoming one of the infected. Before heading to bed, Ellie gives Sam the toy robot he was looking at earlier. Left by himself, Sam drops the toy robot and checks his leg, revealing that he's been infected. Morning arrives, and Ellie goes to check on Sam. Sam has already turned and he attacks Ellie, forcing Henry to shoot him. Overcome with grief, Henry shoots himself. Some length of time passes. Joel and Ellie are now in Jackson County, close to finding Tommy. Joel and Tommy were on bad terms when they parted ways, but it's been a while since then, so Joel's hoping things will be okay between them. Joel and Ellie arrive at a large gate where they find themselves held at gunpoint by some strangers. The tension quickly dissipates when Tommy sees Joel, and the two brothers greet each other warmly.
How you doing, baby brother?
God damn.
Yeah.
Let me look at you.
Tommy introduces Maria, the leader of the settlement, who also happens to be married to Tommy. Maria takes Ellie to get some food, while Tommy shows Joel around the place. Tommy says that he returned to their hometown in Texas and found a photo of Sarah, but Joel refuses to take it. The two brothers continue their tour, and they witness the successful repair of the generator, bringing power to the settlement. Once they're alone, Joel tells Tommy about Ellie and her immunity. Feeling that Tommy owes him for surviving through the early years of the outbreak, Joel tries to pass Ellie off to him so he can deliver her to the Fireflies, but Tommy refuses. The argument gets heated, but it's cut short when a bandit attack forces them into action. After the bandits are dealt with, Joel and Tommy check on Ellie and Maria. Having a change of heart, Tommy tells Maria that he has to take Ellie to the Fireflies. Maria's clearly not happy about this. She warns that if anything happens to Tommy, she will hold Joel responsible. Realizing what's happening, Ellie steals a horse and heads into the woods, prompting Joel and Tommy to chase after her. They track her to a ranch house, and so Joel heads inside and finds her in a room upstairs. Ellie is hurt that Joel wanted to leave her.
Everyone I have cared for has either died or left me. Everyone fucking except for you. So don't tell me that I would be safer with someone else, because the truth is I would just be more scared.
But Joel makes it clear that they are going their separate ways. Anyway, this is a video game, so of course, bandits have to interrupt the moment. After dispatching the bandits, Joel, Tommy, and Ellie head back to the settlement. On the ride back, Joel changes his mind and decides to continue his journey with Ellie. Tommy informs them that there's a Firefly lab at the University of Eastern Colorado, so that's where Joel and Ellie head towards. By now, Joel and Ellie have become quite close. Joel shares his past dream of becoming a singer, and Ellie mentions that being an astronaut would be pretty cool. Joel even shares the fact that he never got to go to college because he had Sarah while he was quite young, though he avoids talking about his ex-spouse. As they explore the university grounds, there are signs that the Fireflies once occupied the place, but they are nowhere to be seen now. Their search leads them to a long dead body of a Firefly, along with a recording that reveals that the Fireflies have relocated to Salt Lake City. A hostile group of survivors show up, so Joel and Ellie start making their way out of the building. An attacker catches Joel off guard, causing both of them to fall off a ledge, leading to Joel getting impaled by a piece of rebar. Joel is gravely injured, but Ellie is more than capable of protecting him while he struggles to keep going. They barely make it outside and onto their horse, only for Joel to pass out, leaving Ellie to figure out things herself. Ellie drags Joel into an abandoned mall, where she quickly wraps his wound, fully aware that it's only a temporary fix. She heads out and explores the mall, hoping to find a first aid kit. Ellie finds one in a crashed helicopter and starts making her way back to Joel. The same group that attacked Ellie and Joel at the university are prowling around the area, searching for them. Getting past both the infected and the survivor group is tricky, yet Ellie manages. She returns to Joel and does her best to stitch him up. Using a sled pulled by their horse, Ellie drags Joel outside, hoping to find a safer place. The days go by, and Joel's condition gets worse, so Ellie's desperate for some medicine. While hunting a deer, Ellie stumbles upon two strangers, David and James.
From a larger group. Women, children. We're all very, very hungry. Maybe we could, trade you for some of that meat there.
Ellie asks for medicine, so David tells James to go fetch some from their settlement. Although she's wary of David and strangers in general, she agrees to wait with them until James comes back. The infected start coming out of nowhere, so Ellie and David fight them off until they're all gone. Ellie starts to let her guard down until David hits her with the grim truth. The survivors that Joel and Ellie encountered at the university were part of David's group. James hears about this when he returns, and although he's reluctant to give the medicine, David orders orders him to do so anyway. David offers to take Ellie into his group, which of course Ellie refuses. Ellie returns to Joel and injects him with the antibiotics. Not long after, Ellie spots James and his men searching the area. To ensure they don't find Joel, Ellie gallops off and deliberately draws attention to herself. Her horse ends up getting shot, so she continues on foot until she gets captured by David. Ellie wakes up in a cell where she sees James cutting up a human body. Surprise, David and his group are cannibals. David shows up and tries once more to persuade Ellie to join him with a creepy undertone of romantic interest. Ellie plays along for a bit until she breaks his fingers and goes for his keys, but things don't go her way. David and James take Ellie onto a chopping board, and just as they're about to butcher her, Ellie claims she's infected. While they're distracted, Ellie strikes James with a butcher knife and runs away from David. Back to Joel, he's awake now, recovered from his illness. Determined to find Ellie, he captures two of David's men and brutally interrogates them. After finding out Ellie's location, he kills them both. Switching back to Ellie's POV, she only gets so far until David catches up to her. It's a game of cat and mouse until David gets his hands on her and tries to choke her to death. Ellie grabs David's machete and savagely hacks him to death, only stopping when Joel arrives and calms her down. The story picks back up in the spring. Joel and Ellie have finally reached Salt Lake City, closer than ever to finding the Fireflies. Because of what happened during the winter, Ellie has become a lot more distant, showing signs of trauma. Upon seeing a herd of giraffes, Ellie gets distracted and runs off by herself to get a closer look, leaving Joel to catch up. They even get a chance to touch one of the giraffes. The two of them have a nice peaceful moment, and Joel has a moment to think about what they've been through. Despite being so close to the end point, Joel suggests they just quit and head back to Tommy's settlement. Ellie refuses though, she's determined to see this through. As they go through a triage, Joel shares a bit about what it was like during the early days of the outbreak, just after losing Sarah. Ellie gives Joel a picture of Sarah, the same one Tommy tried to give, and this time Joel decides to keep it. They continue onwards, going through a flooded tunnel. As they try to get across running water, Ellie gets pulled under the heavy current and drowns. Joel pulls Ellie out of the water and tries to resuscitate her, only to get knocked out by a Firefly soldier. Joel wakes up in the St. Mary's Hospital where the last of the Fireflies are based, where he's met by Marlene.
And Ellie?
She's all right. They brought her back. How'd you do it?
It was her. She fought like hell to get here.
Joel asks to go see Ellie, but Marlene says that she's being prepped for surgery. In order to reverse engineer a vaccine, they would have to extract the cordyceps from Ellie's brain, which would kill her. Joel refuses to accept this, so Marlene has him forcibly escorted out. When he spots his weapons, Joel acts fast and overpowers the Firefly guard who's escorting him, demanding the operating room's location before killing him. Even while being heavily outnumbered, Joel fights his way through the hospital until he reaches the operating room.
I won't let you take her. This is our future. Think of all the lives we'll save.
I get the feeling that killing this guy might set off an unfortunate chain of events. Maybe if I shoot him in the foot. Whoa. Uh-oh. After killing the head surgeon, Joel grabs Ellie and rushes to the elevator, narrowly escaping the Fireflies. Joel arrives at the parking garage where he's intercepted by Marlene herself. Marlene gives Joel one more chance to do the right thing by surrendering Ellie. The man has already made up his mind though. Joel shoots Marlene in the gut, puts Ellie in a car, then finishes Marlene off with a shot to the head. Joel drives back to Tommy's settlement with Ellie. When Ellie wakes up, Joel lies about what happened with the Fireflies. He says that there were other people who were immune to the cordyceps infection, but they weren't useful in finding a cure, so the Fireflies gave up on finding one. Ellie seems doubtful of Joel's explanation, but she keeps quiet. They continue to Tommy's settlement on foot, and Ellie decides to confront Joel about the truth. Having seen people like Riley, Tess, and Sam succumb to the cordyceps infection, Ellie feels burdened by their deaths. Ellie really believed that she could have been the key to ending the cordyceps infection, so she asked Joel if what he said about the Fireflies was really true.
Swear to me. Swear to me that everything that you've said about the Fireflies is true.
I swear.
Okay.
And that's the end. That was The Last of Us Part 1 Condensed. Thanks for watching.